Good afternoon. This is Nick Petro from the National Weather Service in Raleigh with a winter weather briefing for some mixed wintry weather. We're expecting tonight, Monday morning, and then some heavy rain, perhaps Monday night into Tuesday. So anyway, this briefing, we of course will be recording this briefing and sending out the slides and the recording here shortly after we're wrapped up here. But let's go ahead and just get right into winter weather watches, warnings, and advisories that are in effect. So what we've got here is a map showing where there are winter storm warnings in this darker pink across the far northwest portion of the state. For all of central North Carolina, the Raleigh coverage area, we've got winter weather advisories in effect. Winter weather advisories across the northern half of central North Carolina. That's in effect until 9 p.m. tomorrow. For the southern tier, only until about 1 p.m. Monday, and you'll see why here in just a minute. And as you get closer to the coast, some freezing rain advisories for some light freezing rain. Currently, I just wanted to point this out before we get going. Current radar and temperatures, this is as of 4 p.m. Regional radar shows what would appear to be a batch of snow moving across the Piedmont, western Piedmont, and the foothills region. But I'll point out that most of that is evaporating before reaching the ground. Certainly the temperatures are pretty cold enough to support snow. So again, don't be surprised if you see a flurry or two that makes it to the ground before evaporating over the course of the next few hours into the evening hours today on Sunday. But this should not amount to a whole lot. The air is very dry near the surface, so any of those flurries making their way to the ground, not expecting much in the way of issues or problems. All right, so getting into the precip timing and type tonight, Monday morning. Most of that flurry activity, as I pointed out on the previous screen, should be drying up as it heads into central North Carolina. So fast forwarding to later this evening, say after 10 p.m. to midnight, any lingering light snow should be up near the Virginia border, and then we'll be watching to our south because that's where most of our precipitation is going to come from. It's going to be lifting up from the south, from South Carolina. In fact, by midnight there could be a little bit of patchy freezing drizzle across the South Carolina border. As we get into the later overnight hours, pre-dawn Monday, say 2 to 4 in the morning, that precipitation will continue to lift north. In terms of precip type, look for light snow near the Virginia border, a mixture of light snow and sleet basically along the Highway 64 corridor, and then as you head south towards the South Carolina border, warned away of freezing rain moving up from the south because warm air moving in aloft will change that precipitation over from south to north to freezing rain. So then when you get to the morning commute times, let's say between 6 and 8 tomorrow morning, look for a mixture of snow and sleet up near the border, and that transition to the precipitation type changeovers will be well underway with that warm air coming in aloft. So look for more in the way of sleet as you're along if you're up near the I-85 corridor, and then along the Highway 64 corridor, we'll see that sleet changing over to freezing rain, and point south it'll be freezing rain. But again, you'll notice in the reflectivity simulation here, the radar simulation, we're not looking for any big, huge batches of heavy freezing rain or heavy sleet or heavy anything. It's just going to be very scattered, mostly light, and in some cases very patchy in nature. So by late Monday morning, really it's just going to turn very light, and whatever it is, whether it's sleet or freezing rain, it's going to be very patchy and light in nature. So accumulations aren't going to be that great. So as we head into the afternoon, again, drying out aloft will allow this to be a very light, patchy drizzle, freezing drizzle type scenario west of I-95. As you get east of I-95 tomorrow afternoon, Monday afternoon, it should be warm enough for that changeover to rain to have occurred. That'll continue right into the evening commute, patchy light freezing rain or freezing drizzle, mainly Highway 1 and westward. East of Highway 1, again, should be warm enough for all liquid, whether it's drizzle or rain, and that'll continue into the evening, except that freezing rain line will progress even a little bit further inland. So really by tomorrow evening, the only places that should be seeing freezing rain left over would be across the Triad. Should be pretty much rain everywhere else. Now, as we get to tomorrow night, Monday night, we're going to see that warm air really come in here. So we're going to see rain really becoming the dominant precipitation type. tomorrow night. So let's jump ahead to the Tuesday morning commute, and this will be really the next phase of this event where all the freezing anything will be gone because it'll be warm enough for all rain. And at this point, well, you're going to see temperatures rise tomorrow night. So rain turning to rain everywhere. In fact, as the main portion of this weather system moves across, there could be a couple bands, a couple lines of potentially gusty showers, maybe even a rumble of thunder. So that's going to move across our area, central North Carolina, during the morning commute hours. There could be some localized brief heavy downpours and maybe even some strong wind gusts up to 40 miles an hour or maybe even a little higher. And now that, of course, can hamper the morning commute. Now, I'll also point out that wind gusts to 40 miles an hour, if there's any places that have even just a little bit of ice on the trees, that may result in some trees coming down. Again, not so much because there's a lot of ice on those trees, but whatever little ice that there is may help the gusty winds knock some trees down. So we may actually see some downed trees, not so much tomorrow with the ice, but tomorrow night into Tuesday morning when those gusty winds and the heavier downpours come through. And then finally, as we get to the midday on Tuesday, the last of the batches of heavier rain will be moving out of the area. I think by late tomorrow, or let me back up here. I think by late Tuesday afternoon, pretty much everything's going to be gone and we'll be starting to dry out from the west. So look for this event to completely wrap up here as we get into late day Tuesday. Okay, so that takes us to the storm total ice accumulations, and you'll notice these numbers are not that high for ice. We're talking accumulated ice from freezing rain, and the reason is, again, when we were looking back at these slides here, you'll notice the intensity just does not appear to be that great. It's very light, generally speaking. So we've got essentially, freezing rain ice accumulations a tenth of an inch or less, and that's the reason why we only have winter weather advisories. Now, I don't want to say only winter weather advisories because that is an upgrade from a watch. Keep that in mind. And it doesn't take but a slight coating of freezing rain to cause travel problems, especially on bridges and overpasses. So we don't want to play it down, but I think really the main thing you're going to take away from this is that the risk for widespread quarter to a half inch ice amounts, we don't see that. We see more in the way of less than a tenth of an inch, but again, any amount of freezing rain on the bridges and overpasses can make them slick. So do keep that in mind. In terms of how much snow falls before the changeover to sleet and freezing rain, looks like the best chance for any kind of accumulating snow will be generally along and north of I-85, maybe extending into Warren and northern Halifax counties, where maybe an inch or two of snow may accumulate to late tonight into Monday morning before that changeover to sleet and freezing rain. All right, so that takes us to our impacts and takeaways slide. So precipitation amounts overall have been trended down from previous forecasts, but I'll point out again, while freezing rain, sleet, and snow is still expected to hamper travel, particularly across the northern portions of central North Carolina, we're expecting, in terms of the overall impacts as it relates to downed trees and ice accumulation to be less prolonged and overall less severe. Again, not to downplay the travel hampers and issues with travel, because again, let me just reiterate one more time, even a light coating of ice accumulation could cause for slick travel, especially those bridges and overpasses. Now, given that we expect less than a tenth of an inch of ice accumulation, we don't expect many power outages, as I already alluded to on Monday, due to the direct ice accumulation itself. However, when the gusty winds with the intense rain showers or maybe even thunderstorms tomorrow night, Monday night into Tuesday morning, when those move through, that could result in some concentrated areas of downed trees. That's going to be hit or miss, and really we can't predict that at this point in time. It's just going to be whatever areas get the more intense storms. So there could be resulting power outages and property damage associated when that moves through. Property damage, that is, from falling trees. So anyway, other than that, heavy rain could pose a localized flooding risk late Monday night into Tuesday morning, so be careful with that. So again, we may have some morning commute issues Tuesday morning for reasons other than ice. So keep that in mind.